Alright, so lucky Hakim, but finishing off, the video had cut out, but that was the first part. So this is the second part of the segment, going into that the mark of the beast, a global ID vaccine agenda. Like they had this thing now that I believe it's upstate, or I think parts of New York, of not the state of New York, that pretty much is required for your children to get vaccinated now. All religious exemptions are off, meaning that no matter if you have a religious exemption, they still are going to want to chip you because of this whole thing of anti-Semitism and this whole Orthodox Jewish community out there in Harlem or wherever the hell they at. But basically, they're bumping for these people to get vaccinated, and because they have to get vaccinated, the whole world got to suffer from that, okay? And like we said, the whole forcing on you, the whole draconian mindset behind Esau's laws is pretty much preconditioning you to accept a more dystopian type society, which is going to be forced upon you. So now they're testing the austerity measures. They're testing the fabrics of people's integrity, and they're testing it with basically a gun and threatening of jail time and fines, man, which is the people in America's biggest fear, is being threatened with being sued or thrown in jail. Okay, or better yet, killed. Those are the three greatest Americans' fears: being killed, thrown in jail, or being discredited or sued. Okay, and they're threatening you people. That's how they're gonna push this chip in a roundabout way. Outside of, well, that's how they're gonna push it when it comes to just all-out assault. But before then, they're gonna do it in a passive-aggressive way. Okay, well, our job is switching over to biometrics. Now we need you to put, in order to keep your employment, you got to get the chip because we're not dealing with cash anymore. That's how they're going to force it. But out the while, they just going to start kicking in doors and taking you to the nearest FEMA camp and putting this chip in you, man. Okay, so let's read more. Let's go more.
Vaccine study and a law study in which prisoners were actually exposed to this airborne agent.
Lab-grown killer mosquitoes are about to invade 20 states in the U.S., but you might not want to squash these bugs.
New warning tonight for parents, with the death toll now rising from that dangerous mosquito-borne illness known as Triple E. We have been covering it here, and 2 more deaths now reported in Michigan. 5 in all from Michigan to Massachusetts, and now parents in some communities are being told to keep their children inside at dusk.
Some of these pestilences are weaponized insects and are also a part of the testing from the Rockefeller Institute, who are heavily involved with the Zika virus and other weaponizing of mosquitoes. The Rockefellers are the main supporters of global depopulation plans, and ironically also spearhead the mosquito research of Zika, which causes birth defects, premature birth, and miscarriage, thus helping lower the population. The government is also helping support the hybridization of mosquitoes. Yale University recently reported that the genetically modified mosquitoes in Brazil backfired. Coincidentally, there are now new reports of rare mosquito viruses spreading and killing people. And how much of this is coming from releases from labs is still unknown.
The whole agenda is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips.
The agenda to groom a controlled release, a mass pandemic to bring about the microchipping vaccine records, is on the forefront of the talking points for the New World Order, and it's seen all over the media. They are now promoting the apocalypse itself, saying that 80 million are at risk for the next wipeout that will leave humanity in ruins.
And that's actually biblical, man. As a matter of fact,
believe in lowering the population as
let me
well.
get the scriptures to back that up real quick,
who are also major,
because we've been saying that for some time, okay? So matter of fact, let's get the scripture. I'm gonna go to Revelation, the 6th chapter, because that backs up everything that this guy is really saying, okay? And like I said earlier, it's a damn shame that Edomites are coming out with this type of information, and you Israelites supposed to be men of the Lord. You supposed to be prophets, but you negate speaking on this type of information. What are you scared of? You think because you're not gonna speak on it, you think it's gonna go away? Because you don't speak on a chip, it's just gonna miraculously disappear. No, man, it's gonna come whether you like it or not. Okay, because at the end of the day, you Jakes think that you speak on a certain information that is gonna get Esau off your rectum, man. No, Esau Edom is coming for every last one of us. We don't give a damn if you're whoever. Okay, you can be Great Millstone, you can be IUIC, you can be all these different titles that we name our camps to distinguish the doctrine. But hey, they coming for each and every last one of us, even you Facebookalites. All right, you Old Testament Torah night cats, they coming for you too. They coming for Jake, period. Even the ones that don't believe they're Israelites, they are coming. That's why Yahweh Shai say, man, those that try to save their life shall lose it. Because basically that's what you're trying to do, is save your life by not speaking on the mark of the beast, man. This is heavy information and it's very interesting, and it shows you the times that we're living in. Okay? That's why I tell brothers, hey, you could do a video 7 days a week on the mark of the beast and it never gets old. Why? Because it's a prophecy that's going to come to pass, man. Okay? And so this is the book of Revelation 6. And I'm going to start at verses 8. It says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on it was death, and hell followed with him. And the power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Okay? So there you go, man. The different pestilence, the diseases. You know, like you go watch that series, The Walking Dead, which they probably like on season 20 by now. They should have been into that at season 5. But they showed you how these viruses starts in the CDC down in Atlanta. Okay, and I believe that's where they actually create the AIDS virus at, and that's why it's heavy among the populace in Atlanta, mainly the Negro communities and Latino communities. You know. So matter of fact, I got another one. Smooth things, deceits, because you want us to prophecy smooth things, man. Okay, you want us to prophecy lies and deceits. You want to hear a bunch of lies and that everything is going to be okay. You know, a bunch of psychobabble. But hey, the Lord, man, he's not with the fluff and puff doctrine. We don't deal with that here. All right. So this is the book of Isaiah 30, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 9. It says, "Now go, write it before them in a table," which the table goes, against goes towards your, your beliefs. Like a table is a place you sit down and eat. Okay, so you put something on a table is readily accessible for you to adhere, so to speak. And it says here, noted in a book, that it may be for the time to come and forever and ever. The book is the scriptures. Okay, these words are going to be forever. All right, we're going to recollect on the prophecies. We're going to read these stories in the kingdom, because we've actually lived these things. And it says that this is a rebellious people, lying children that would not hear the law of Yahweh, which say to the seers, which the seers are the prophets. Okay, it says, see not into the prophets, prophecy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophecy deceits. Okay, meaning the mark of the beast is not going to come to pass. That is not a chip. You're not going to be destroyed for taking it. There's no such thing as Jacob's trouble. Everything is going to be okay. Ain't going to be no civil war. Ain't going to be no civil unrest. When, hey, you look down at Hong Kong right now, they're pretty much protesting. They rioting out there. Okay, people are catching all kinds of hell out there in Hong Kong. Riots in the streets. People, they said a person got shot today out there. Okay, so things are turning up on the planet Earth. The sedition among men is getting real, whether you morons believe it or not. All right, and it says, and get you out of the way. All them GMS guys always prophesying doom and gloom. Why don't y'all go say something positive? Motherfucker, we ain't in a positive time, all right? Positive news is that the bad shit is going to happen before the good. That's the positive. That's as good as it's going to get. All right, and we ain't gonna promise you the kingdom on this round because it ain't promised to us. So then, hey, we gonna prophecy doom and gloom because, hey, that's what the scriptures told us to prophesy about. We ain't here. I'll be lying to you if I told you that everything was gonna be okay in Jacob's trouble. I will be lying to you if I said that. We will be lying. We never said that. All right, but for the elect, it's gonna be okay. But it's gonna be some bumps and bruises in the road. But nonetheless, man, hey. These things must come to pass. It says, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Okay, so there you go. They don't want this word coming out in its truth and sincerity. That's why Esau Edom is attacking the truth. Okay.
Forerunners for vaccines. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have also been caught in major scandals in India, one of the largest populations on the planet. There is no telling how many of these operations are ongoing from these organizations worldwide. But the H1N1 and the H5N1 tests could be covertly going on against the will of the people of India, Africa, and China by the same organizations. These experiments and agendas are ongoing worldwide through organizations such as Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Health Organization, and Gavi.
Boy, Bill
The Food and
Gates.
Drug Administration had approved the Verichip RFID implant tag.
There
They
you
used
go.
the explanation that doctors hoped this device would help become a solution for patients without medical or vaccine records. Positive ID, which bought Verichip, has long worked on putting immunization records and state Medicaid records connected to this implant.
And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century.
See?
Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's
See, we're in the 21st century right now, man. All right, let me rewind that. You hear what Senator Biden is saying?
body?
State records connected to this implant.
And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his
Consequences. You heard what he just said.
every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over.
Hey, and that tenure ain't over yet. Okay, we're in the 21st century, and hey, he said we have talks about that. So don't think when they go to these G20 summits and these world summits, when the whole presidents of the world meets with the elites behind closed doors and they do little sacrifices, don't think 1 second they're not talking about how to chip and enslave humanity. Don't think for 1 second they're not talking about how to eviscerate the so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American, which are the biblical Hebrew Israelites. Okay, that's the main thing on the books. Those of you that's unfamiliar with that type of sentiment that they're pushing, read Psalms the 83rd chapter and it's going to break it down to you.
Bill and Melinda
Go back.
immunization records and state Medicaid records
heavy.
connected to this implant.
And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over.
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
I
has
gotta
worked
brown
on
that
field-
again. Slakia,
Track
man.
his every
But look at
movement.
this
There's
devil's
actual
face.
discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over.
Here's a bot. So what you got to say about that?
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has worked on field tests that use mobile phone-based vaccine registries that use biometric systems for immunization records keeping. The use of cryptocurrency blockchains for tracking supply chains is now the goal for linking the vaccine records and the identity. Their
Bitcoin.
goal is to put the digital identity onto the supply chain using cryptocurrency blockchains with the vaccine records to track everybody globally.
That's right, because it's all cashless, man. It's all digitized. It's all part of the algorithm of the Internet of Things, IoT, the Internet of Things. That's why you have all these at-home or app-based jobs, man, because they're getting you mentally conditioned to deal with this type of technology, man. Okay, they're getting you out of mindset of dealing with tangible and feasible cash into the mindset of dealing with something totally wireless and digital. Same thing with Amazon to Go, Google Pay, Smart Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. You know, to the point you can walk to stores like in China. You got stores you can walk through and they'll scan your biometrics, man, and you can pay for your device. You don't need no cash. They look at you with cash, man, they'll run you up out of there. May even call the cops on you. That's why these banks give you such a hard time as to getting a certain amount of money. Like I believe it was $10,000 to the point they'll call the cops or they'll investigate it. You know, now I believe it's lower than that. You know, don't quote me on that. You can look it up. But nonetheless, it's getting to that type of draconianism, man. I don't even know if that's a word, but still, it's getting to that type of austerity. Okay, Dracon or draconian, man, which means pretty much a harsh rule or like a dictatorship or a radical law, so to speak. All right.
Bill Gates funded the Denominator Group, who are also working on this agenda. The Gates Foundation is also in full support of the Better Than Cash Alliance. This project's goal is to digitize the economy with the same global ID chain.
Oh,
digital cashless
look at this. He quoted the scripture.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation
I ain't about to go
worked
to
directly
it.
with Gavi on this global goal for vaccines and blockchain for tracking vaccine records. These core groups are working towards implanting everybody with a global ID with vaccine records. The ID 2020 project is working with the Rockefeller Foundation and Gavi on this digital identity with vaccine records. A sub-project of this group is working with them also called the Identity Foundation.
Etna.
The Identity Foundation works with Accenture, Microsoft, ID 2020, and IBM on the setting up of this tracking system. IBM historically has done this in the past with the Hollerith machines, tattooing tracking numbers for the machines onto the arm of the people that they were putting into concentration camps under the Nazis.
All the banks and financial institutions are running on IBM punch cards. These cards were like bullets. If IBM would have just stopped printing the cards, it would have been like rifles without bullets, but they wouldn't stop printing the cards. In fact, the Auschwitz tattoo began as an IBM number. It began when the printer
IBM goes
card
back to the
that
Auschwitz.
each person had, which was identical to what the IBM system could take, was actually tattooed on their skin.
See? And that's what that whole Third Reich was about. The whole Third Reich during the time of Hitler's dictatorship, even though he was a Rothschild, an illegitimate son of the Rothschilds, he was set up to do what he was going to do, because the Third Reich was basically a trial run before this particular setup that we're in now. It was to pave the way as to a dystopian type society, man. Because Hitler was set up to do what he was going to do. He was working for the elites. Okay? You can look up that history.
This same IBM is working towards a more high-tech method of this system, identical to that of the Nazi eugenics program. Accenture and Microsoft founded the ID 2020 program. They are working on the global biometric exit entry systems. Accenture and Microsoft had set up the Department of Homeland Security's biometric security exit and entry systems that were under Obama, and this was fast-tracked and enforced under Trump's executive order.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately.
There you go. Hey, DJ just said it, man. Hey, he just said it. That was the chip. Hey, that's why the apostle deemed this the year Karagma, the chip, man. It's coming, and it's no coincidence that all these videos are coming out here. The scriptures say the Lord Yahweh would do nothing but he surely revealed the secrets into the service of the prophets. So by us speaking on these things at this velocity, at this phenomenal rate, that shows you right there that the Most High is getting to make his move, man. And when the Most High have them to pass that chip on the left hand side, it's going to get all your undesirables out the way, so the Lord can be justified on destroying you. Because if you take the chip, you're going to get the missiles, man, and you're going to be destroyed. And that's a fact, and there's no repentance behind that. For all you guys out there that like to take shortcuts, okay, enter ye at the straight gate.
We'll finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately.
Why? Because he hates the tribes.
Required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
The name of the program...
That's the chip, man. And hey, one thing I can say about DJ Trump, he's honest to be an Edomite. Trump is very blatantly honest, man. He's brutally honest. People take him as a joke, and he is a joke. He's a clown. Okay? He's funny. But nonetheless, when you think that he's joking, he's actually being serious, man. That's that fourth time. He's basically telling you what he's going to do. He said he's going to implement it, man. And he was sure of that. This was before he was even president. So think about it now. It's more scarier now because they're not talking about it for real. Okay? Alternative news sources maybe. But they're not really talking about it as far as in the media. They're doing this behind closed doors. So we're going to get down to the Skippy. All right? Because, hey, you guys out there that's speaking against it, hey, you're gonna have to make a decision. So this is the book of Revelation 2:10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer, but behold, the devil should cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." All right, so a lot of you dudes, man, your integrity, our integrity is gonna be tested. But a lot of you guys, man, you just gonna fizzle out. You can't deal with the adversity. You can't deal with the heartache. You can't deal with the threats. You know, you're not being built up. Like right now, all the wickedness and the BS that we're going through as Israelite men, the Lord is preparing us to deal with this, man. It's going to be to the point we're going to be like, fuck it, kill me. You know? And a lot of you dudes, you ain't been through that adversity. Which one of you niggas out there in these other camps make videos on hell that you're catching, man? Because you dudes, only thing you talk about is Israelites. Esau, Edom is the white man. I know on top of that, you never goes into the hell that we're catching as. I mean, you go into the hell, but you don't seem to have any type of testimonials to the trials and darts that you're going through. When have you guys ever had a testimony of the Lord delivering you from something? Because brothers, I know we got testimonies, man, for days. I could speak on a testimony right now, you know, which I've spoken on several times before. But those type of things, man, that shows you that the Lord is building us up. He's branding us for this market, so to speak. He's branding us for this, how can I say it? For this product, man, okay? And it says here, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right, so this is Revelation 3:10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. And the word of the Lord's patience is these prophecies coming to pass, and actually the word of the Most High, Yahweh. Scriptures say, look, live not by bread alone, but every word that coming out of the mouth of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So by you teaching against the chip, and you're not speaking on it as being prophetic tense, hey, the Lord is not going to keep you from the hour of temptation. And that's the key. He said, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which should come upon all the world to try them which dwelleth upon the earth. Okay, and it's nothing other than a chip, because this chip is going to be a change. It's going to be a change and shift of paradigm. All right, it's going to be a whole paradigm shift when this chip come to pass, because a lot of people know what the chip is. A lot of people is going to try to resist it, but the Lord ain't dealing with them. So whether they resist it or not, a lot of people are going to still drop dead from it, because you're going to have people that's not going to get the chip and that's going to buck up against it and still get destroyed. You're going to have a lot of Edomites that's not going to take this chip. Like this guy that's in the video, let's just say, well, he might not take the chip. You know, he might not take it. A lot of these Christians in these church and the Bible belts, they know the chip is the mark of the beast. And a lot of them are going to revolt against it and not take it. But it don't benefit them not to, because they're not Israelites. Okay? So going back to the video, and then I'm going to bring out the last couple of precepts, and we're going to shut it down. Salaki has been extended out, but this needed to come out. All right, this is a good video, man. It's a very good video. This is probably one of the best videos I didn't see that was thorough and to the point, and it was on point 110%. This is a cold video right here, man. Okay?
The U.S. is the Real ID Act. It was set up under the Patriot Act from 9/11. The censure was also contracted to help set up the FEMA systems for the risk mapping.
That was the whole thing about 9/11. They set up a fake war on terror to be justified on going in there to Iraq, you know, to start a war, you know, to go into Afghanistan, to be justified on getting closer to the Iranian border, so they can be justified on going down there for when this place collapsed. Set up a fake war on terror, so they killed 3 birds with 1 stone. To chip everybody, set up a fake war on terror to get people's mindset all jacked up, to believe that there's a real big boogeyman when the boogeyman is Esau. Okay, and with this whole 9/11 attack that justified them to bringing out the real ID, going extra hard for like you go to the airports now, the TSA is all in your ass crack, looking for things that they know is not there. You know, these different laws, etc. These metal detectors. You know, you got to get a real ID now. That was all 9/11 was set up for, so they could be justified on setting up the NDAA Act, the Patriot Act 2, which pretty much deems every U.S. citizen a terrorist, man. That was the whole concept behind 9/11, which was propagated in the early 90s. They got comics, they got cartoons, they got movies, even on a Mario Brother movie to show you that the World Trade Centers were attacked. Okay, so that was the biggest scheme they done pulled off. And you're going to have terrorist attacks that's even greater than that, to the point you're going to have bombs going off in downtown cities. You may have a pocket nuke that may go down, end up hitting one of them skyscrapers downtown, man, in Chicago. Don't be surprised, man, because these devils, they got to get this new world order on. They press for time. They gonna have to act on something, man. Okay. And hey, Aaron Russo said it best. He said Nick Rockefeller told him. He said, well, look. He said, look, we want to chip everybody. We're gonna set up a fake war on terror, which is gonna bring in security measures to the T, draconianism. Okay, I don't know if that's a word. Austerity, and get all the people mind all messed up, because you got people in this country that really believe that you got Arabs downtown trying to blow up buildings, man. You got people that really believe this shit, and it's worked, and it's gonna allow these people to get chipped willfully because they love their beloved country and they're so patriotic to the point they'll do anything to save this piss hole of a country, which is gonna be destroyed any goddamn way. Okay.
This risk mapping was set up for the management systems of FEMA to work with the DHS in the event of pandemic emergencies where the systems could be used to get everybody chipped.
Whew.
FEMA has set up the planning for the pandemics with the censor based
This
on
is
the
a
model
cold
of
ass
DHS.
video, man.
It will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
The name of the program in the U.S. is the Real ID Act. It was set up under the Patriot Act from 9/11. Accenture was also contracted to help set up the FEMA systems for the risk mapping. This risk mapping was set up for the management systems of FEMA to work with the DHS in the event of pandemic emergencies where the systems could be used to get everybody chipped. FEMA has set up the planning for the pandemics with Accenture based on the model to divide the regions of the U.S. up into 10 quarantine zones using the biometric exit entry systems to enforce the global ID. Accenture and Microsoft with ID 2020 had ran a test on this system. They used the Jordan Syrian refugees camps with the United Nations as a test model where millions were put into camps and used this biometric system.
We always said that UN and America is already in cahoots, okay? They're part of the same conglomerate, part of the same beast system. And on top of that, that movie Great State, it showed you that the UN was over here. Like if you look at the videos of these different MRAPs and so forth being transported by cargo, by rail and freight, the UN is already over here, man. Okay, they're already over here.
The systems for the ID 2020 use a verified certification for the global ID, which is called the Mark. The prophecy gives a warning in the end times that Christians will be put into prisons. Revelation chapter 2, verse 10.
See? Damn, he on point with them scriptures, man. I don't know if he watch us, but hey, I just quoted, I just brought that scripture out. And he's on point. So why you ain't hey Zabak, man? Hey, this dude sizing you up, man. All you dudes out there, you guys are fucking pathetic, man. This is straightforward. Alright. Keep playing with the Most High.
Do not fear any of these things which you are about to suffer. Indeed, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and you will have tribulation 10 days. Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life. It is interesting to note that the Bible prophecy says that the prisons, testing, and tribulation is 10 days. This coincides with Ebola quarantine, and the time of Ebola to show symptoms is also 10 days.
Well, for one thing, that 10 days just goes into a complete number of time. It could be 10 months, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 10 hours, it can be literal 10 days. We don't know. Okay? I don't have a precept that I can go into to prove what the 10 days is, because, you know, the Bible's numerology is very symbolic. Okay? Like a day is 1,000 years. Okay? And sometimes months and years, they're counted different in the scriptures, man. Okay? 7 days and 6 days. 7 days on the 7,000th year, the Most High rested from his work which he created. Okay, and sometimes half an hour, when it stated that it was a space in heaven for half an hour, that's a literal half an hour. Like you go into I believe what is the 42 months, I believe, roughly paraphrasing it, I believe when it goes into the time it was 41.2 years, if I'm not mistaken. But I got to go back through my notes because that's a breakdown. It's pretty heavy, but nonetheless, time is counted differently in the scriptures, man, depending on the context. Okay.
DC is involved with FEMA to establish quarantine zones alongside the U.S. government military, which has plans for military intervention at the point of civil disorder or national emergency threats.
Now to a controversial bill resurfacing in Congress. The FEMA camp bill allows the government to run at least 6 military installations when a national emergency is declared. These emergency centers would be run by FEMA under the command of the Secretary of Homeland Security. A few years ago, a similar bill was presented in Congress, but it didn't go anywhere over concerns that the broad language can lead to sweeping, unchecked government power.
To my right, this was previously was a soybean field in this little.
All right, so matter of fact, I'm gonna just wrap it up. So I'm gonna bring out the required precepts. The point has been made. But this video is badass. I'm gonna post a link so you brothers can see it in case you want to do response videos. You know, do response videos to it. You know, put your opinion. Well, not your opinion, but you know, talk about it, expand on it, man. You know, brothers in my camp. Hey man, y'all should all do response videos to this. If you're watching the videos, this should show me if y'all watch the videos or not. I'm expecting the brothers in my camp to do a response video to this video before the week is over with, man. If you don't do the video, then hey, you brothers suspended. No, I'm just joking. But no, you brothers should really do response videos to this, man. Let's get this chip out. Let's promote it. Let's pass it, you know, because we are the men of the Lord. We have to do so. Okay. Like Revelation 19. Okay, so this is the book of Revelation 13 and 15. It says, and he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast shall be killed. Okay, the image is everything around you. It's this whole draconian system, this whole Roman system. Okay, the fourth kingdom, or the fourth beast, which was a dragon, the red dragon, which represents Esau, Edom, this beast. Okay, this is talking about his system here. Okay, which is going to be required for you to take this chip, whether you want to live or not. It's going to come down to life or death ultimately. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Because, okay, one of you guys, you jakes, want to get out of jail early, take the chip. They may reduce your sentence by 12 months, a year, 10 months, 6 months. Hey, you may get a 50-year sentence reduced to 20 years if you take the chip. That's how desperate this devil is for control. Okay, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads. Brain chips, you know, like the Kansas University or the Kansas Institute of Medicine, they have brain chips out there. They're chipping people in the brain. Those that was autistic or dealing like paraplegics. They were instituting with chips as far as test studies, and they were regaining functioning in their lower extremities and different illnesses they may have had within their bodies. And it says here, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, and we already know what this Greek word charagma means: mark, incision, or stamp on the skin. Okay, I mean, it's plain as day. Those of you that, you know, that care to do the research. And it says, and here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. Okay, which is that universal product code, UPC code. All right, because hey, like I said, man, we're the prophets. Then we have to speak on these things. All right, and we can't have no fear. The Lord said, "Look, I give you not the spirit of fear." What the hell are you holding back for? This is a beautiful thing that we able to understand. It's unlike some people we know. All right, so this is the book of Revelation 19:10. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see that thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai. Worship the Most High, which his name is Yahweh. For the testimony of Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy. Okay, and Great Millstone and the men that follow the doctrine come in the spirit of prophecy. Okay, 90% of our videos is circumvented around prophecy. Okay. And I got another precept that actually this is a good precept. This is in the book of 2nd Esdras. I want to say it is the 16th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. If not, we will find it. 16 and 68. It said, feeding some of you being idle. All right, so this is the book of 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter, 68 verse. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they should take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. If you go into the Maccabees, the 7th chapter, when the 7 men were getting pretty much tortured and persecuted for not eating swine, man. Equate this to that, what's going to happen in the future, or in the times we're living in. For you, us that don't want to take the chip, who knows what they want to do to us. And then again, your Lord is going to anoint the majority of his men with spiritual power any damn way. So it's nothing to really fear if you're in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Like, I gotta, like, I believe I'm going to get the spiritual power. You know, I might not get it, but I really believe it. And it's been several testimonies and things that just happened in my life that, you know, it equates to that. Now, I'm not saying that to be boastful or proud or anything like that, because, you know, that could have been for somebody else. But I pray and I beg Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai for the spiritual help. We're going to need all the help we can get. Okay? And I don't think the Lord is going to let us. They've been dishing it to us for the last 7 captivities, man. It's about time we get even. You know what I mean? And it says here, for the next, and it says, and they that consent unto them should be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. So if you consent to the chip, if you take it, then hey, you're going to be destroyed. And it says, for there should be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, which are the Israelites, and they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying them that fear the Lord. That's why you have a lot of these jakes getting gunned down by cops everywhere they look. You know, for they should waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And they should be known who are the chosen and should be tried as gold in the fire. All right, so there you go, man. This coming. And here, O ye my beloved, says the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. And brothers, meditate on that, man, and really think about that. The Most High is our guide, man, and that's the spirit, because I got a text somewhat to this signal fashion the other day. It was like the Most High will guide you. So I'm hoping this is the case, man. But with that, all praises and glory, honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations be to the hopeful elect brethren. Call Akim. Okay. That's noise in the gospel. Abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Labracarium. Alright. And with that, Shalom. And a Baba Ball. And hey, brothers, may the Lord come get us quick. Shalom.